Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers.
What?
It is
There's
the
three of us.
trifecta. We have Bo back. Yay! Well, we have
Yay!
Bo all the time, but actually live and recording with us.
They lock me in a basement usually, and they're like, "Shut up."
Well,
But today I'm allowed to talk.
I'm trying to go for that whole 13 ghost house, and I will eventually get all the kinks worked out in that situation.
And that's why there's so much glass down there in the basement. I keep
Yep.
getting like stuck between panes. I don't know what to do.
Is that what we do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what we do? Okay. I just knew she just crawls out sometimes and I have to throw her a ham sandwich. So
No, it just happens to find some parts that were not sealed all the way. Eventually, I'll get it.
That's
It'll
Squeeze out like a little rat.
nah.
More like a
Whatever my head can fit through, the rest of me can fit through.
Yes. Yes. I learned that about mice. I don't know why I didn't know that about mice, but I learned that.
Yeah,
about
a lot of rodents can do that.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
And
their
then-
skull can go through.
Yep.
They can go through.
And then sheep haven't learned that. That was on a Clarkson's farm tidbit.
Oh.
I found out that sheep are just suicidal. They're only good at one thing, and that's killing themselves. And they stick
Sheep
their
are
head.
not smart animals. They're very dumb.
Yeah.
That's
He
why
said one time a sheep stuck its head through a fence and couldn't get any further, and then a badger started attacking it and like eating its leg, and the sheep's like, "This is my life now. This is how I go," and it just sat there and took it.
its brain wasn't even firing on all cylinders. It's just like, oh, there's a badger here.
Yeah. And
Yes.
Carrie loves the animals. She loves all the animals, especially the small little fuzzy ones. But we've learned really quickly that badgers, they're so adorable. They do tea with Mr. Toad and all that. No, they're just bastards.
They're terrible. Yes.
And they carry tuberculosis, which kills all the pets and all the livestock. So if one of them brings tuberculosis to one cow, they have to kill the whole herd.
Yeah. And they're a protected species.
Yes.
So if they infiltrate your farm, you're not allowed to kill them off, even though they kill off your livestock.
Yep. So
I think they're a badger podcast now. Badger cast.
Anyway, down that rabbit hole. Sorry.
Okay, travelers, what we're doing today is something that is long overdue because we've done some listener tales things to catch up, but we have listener questions. It's been forever since we did a listener question episode. So we're doing a listener question episode. And so, yes, that's where we are. And so if you had a question out to us and been like, they're ignoring me, we never ignore.
No.
And I reply to a lot of those. We reply to many of them that, especially the ones that don't want to be on the show. So we are happy to reply to those privately. We've had plenty of those. So yeah.
Yes, but with that, is there anything else we have other than make sure to check out EerieTravels.com for all of the listings and where we're going to be, because we've got a really packed Eerie Travels schedule for now through, I think, almost the end of November, right?
Yeah. We've got a convention or an appearance nearly every week. Plus, we've got some midweek stuff thanks to the book launch. We're doing a lot of book signings all over. Make sure you check. And those are starting to pop in like short notice on some of these. So constantly check the website. We appreciate it. So
yes,
doing our best. And thank you for all the pre-orders we've gotten so far. And people who've met us at the conventions. Hope you're enjoying the books. So
yes, we've asked for feedback, and we had a traveler who had bought their book, accidentally left it at home, come over to our booth to go, where's an Erica's Eats in Knoxville again? I need to know where to go. We forgot our book at home. And I was like, how dare you? Here's where you go. So that was super cute and adorable and fun. So yes. That was exciting. Okay. So should we drive right in? Dive right in.
I think we should.
Who's reading first?
I don't think it should be me since I can't find words in my face. So how about because we have Bo? Why don't we, Bo?
Bo, why don't you start off?
All right. I get the long one. This has happened to me 3 different times in the past 2 years. Twice I have been completely and utterly awake. I mean, so awake that it's undebatable, watching TV and reading my phone. And the first time, it felt like someone was laying under my bed and pushing their leg up to kick my mattress. Same feeling when someone kicks back of your seat in car.
Ugh.
Like it was one kick and a few seconds later, another kick. I stopped what I was doing, but quickly ignored it, like I probably just imagined it. Then it happened again, and it was so obvious that I had to get up and look under the bed. Nothing. Then it happened again minutes later. Another time, I was watching a movie and my mattress felt like it was vibrating, like there was an earthquake, but only my mattress was affected, not my bed frame or other furniture. It literally happened for a whole 2 minutes. The last time it happened, I was actually falling asleep, almost asleep actually. It was just how it happened the first time, the kicking. I had the same thought, someone's under me kicking. But I remembered how it happened a few months ago and nobody was there. And I didn't care because I was too lazy and sleepy anyway. Mood. Is this some phenomenon or a paranormal bed? LOL. I wanted to add a major detail that I would assume to be a pretty significant one. My husband has experienced this with me, but it was only one of the occurrences. He's up late working in the den and falls asleep in there a few times a week. He didn't want to elaborate or discuss. He's a science fact based kind of guy. And this is from Kaylee.
Well, Kaylee, I
Haven't we
suggest
had this problem happen
Yeah.
before?
Yeah.
We discussed it on a recent listener tale that this is I think this is not a paranormal phenomena. I think this is again preternatural. This is something we've heard this so much that there is a science thing to it that they've studied where beds, especially ones with metal frames, the metal gets taut and then like something molecular is happening where it shakes and vibrates. Sometimes different distributions of the weight of the bed. Sometimes it can just happen temperature change. They haven't figured it out yet. And sometimes it comes across as a knock, like a pop. And it would feel like, somebody kicking under the mattress and stuff like that. Again, I'm not 100% sure this is paranormal. I think this is just something we haven't 100% locked in how it works. Preternatural by definition.
If your husband is sitting in the den in a chair falling asleep and the same thing is happening to him, that could be something different. So it could be, you know what? In order to answer this question, Kaylee, I think we need to know what kind of bed you have. Because if it's not a metal box spring or a metal framed bed or something, and it's one of these new cool like Casper mattresses or just the foam, that would be a different story. So I think.
Oh, and if Casper Mattress wants to call us and sponsor the podcast, we would be down.
Yes, totally down because we do love them.
And we're definitely cool with anything named after Casper the Friendly Ghost. So
exactly. So
I don't know. Again, this is just one of those not a professional opinion. This is just our opinion, as in all these questions. I think though, get your husband. He's a science fact based kind of guy. Have him look into it. So
yeah, and yes, that's what I would do. But if it continues and it is happening to him in his chair, I would suggest just telling it to leave, that you don't want to mess with it anymore, because if it is something, then it's just playing jokes on you. So that's what I would
can't
do.
tell if it happened in his chair or not. It sounds like he just misses out on it a lot because he falls asleep in the den and not in the room.
Yeah, no, that's why I couldn't tell. But if it is happening in his chair or another location, unless it's the exact,
then it's like something. Then it's something creepy.
Yeah, so
then it's
That is our clarification. It could have a very scientific explanation, or it could just be something messing with you, but it doesn't seem dangerous either. So just annoying.
Yeah.
So,
definitely not a threat, and maybe not even some way to communicate. I don't know what that is. So
yeah, agreed. Okay, Mark, go
All
for
right.
it.
Hi, Eerie travelers.
Hi.
Is there a way to make a discreet, durable, and low maintenance charm to block out the bad energy of, quote, that coworker to protect myself and those around me? If it's able to clip onto my employee badge, the better. Signed, a soggy wad of duct tape, aka Halloween Eve.
Oh,
Oh,
hello.
hi, Eve.
we love Eve.
Eve is one of our Patreons, and we are patrons, and we are very happy. We love you, Eve. Very active participant in our book club. So, oh my
And our
gosh,
Discord.
and our Discord, yes. So, what do we say to that, Erica? You got an idea? Because I got an idea, but I want to hear yours first.
I think that if there's something, I like the doing the lemon freezy thing where you pull apart a lemon, you put their name in it, you tie it with twine, and then you put it in the freezer just to slow them down from what they're doing. That way it's not on the badge, it's just discreet and it's geared just towards them.
Yeah, and it will still work
them down.
like not being on your person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now if they're like an energy vampire type situation that you're feeling because they're just sucking the life out of you and all that, I highly recommend that you get that little bit of what is it? It's ginseng, and you just rub it on, like a name tag's perfect thing to rub it on, or you rub it on a necklace, or you rub it on something that's supposed to ward off that negative energy. It's supposed to keep things
And get a
from draining.
perfume too, like a one of those roll-on perfumes, and like put it like on your under your ears and like on like chakra points or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would also just suggest like an iron necklace. I know Erica's got me one, and I love to wear it when I'm like going out. And they look pretty, so you just look fashionable. You don't look like you're trying to protect yourself from an evil person that's at your work.
Yes, no, it's true. I love my iron necklace. Honestly, I found one on Etsy. It says, what are the materials included? Just find one that's 100% iron.
Yeah.
And intention is everything. So
Agreed.
if you think this is going to protect you and put energy into it protecting you, guess what? The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So if you can do that with anything. If you got a patch on your backpack that you love and believe in everything in it, as long as you do that, that'll work. That's what ask any practitioner, Wiccan, whatever. That's one of their big things is intention is all. So you can make anything a holy symbol if you really put your mind to it. So
agreed. AKA the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
And my Buckaroo Bonsai patch.
Yeah. So. I love it. Okay, here we go. Oh, I can already tell I'm going to regret this one. Here we go. Okay, I need to share something with you all. Oh, all righty then. Share away. It was bizarre and happened last night. My partner, our 10-year-old daughter, and I decided to make our go-to weeknight dinner roasted cabbage wedges, potatoes, and smoked sausage. Well, that sounds delicious.
That sounds good.
Never mind.
I'm going to do that midweek.
You know the drill, chop, season, toss in the oven. Total hands-off time, right? Usually 45 minutes max. We've done this a dozen times. We started at 6 p.m. sharp, preheated the oven to 450 degrees, chopped the veggies, talked shit. Everyone sat at their station doing their thing. Everything felt normal. We even set a timer. But when the timer went off, the potatoes were done, and we left the cabbage in for another 10 minutes. Here's where it gets uncanny. We sat down at the counter, checked our phones while waiting, and collectively froze. 10:03 p.m. All of our devices, phones, oven clock, microwave agreed. 4 hours had passed. 4 hours. Oof. No, we didn't, quote unquote, lose track of time. We didn't nap. We didn't binge a show or leave the house. We were right there chatting, stirring the sausage, turning the cabbage. It felt like 45 minutes tops. Our daughter kept asking, why is it dark outside? And we didn't even think much of it until we saw the clock. The kicker, the oven was working fine. Everything cooked to perfection, defying physics, defying logic, and defying every roasted veggie law. Nothing was burnt to a crisp like it had been cooking for nearly 4 hours. A friend of us told us to ask you all, as you talk about this a lot on your show, has anyone experienced this? Is this a glitch, a time vortex? Linda. Yes, my darling friend Linda,
That's
you
wild.
have encountered a glitch in the matrix.
I'm thinking alien abduction. That's my go-to one.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just startled that potatoes could cook in just 45 minutes. Like potatoes take unnaturally long. So I'm like, wow.
About 45 minutes.
I mean, if they
Oh
have
yeah,
If you
they're
count
not,
all-
they're not like full.
No, they're talking like roasted potatoes. It sounds like they're chopping them up and stuff. It's a little like, red potatoes or the little gold potatoes. That's what Carrie and I do when we do roasted veggies and stuff. So, they take about 30, 45 minutes. But the fact that it didn't overcook, that's the thing that gets me. Because if it was an abduction or something like that, you get that time you wake up and then suddenly, you get back to your house and everything's, the oven's smoking
Your
and stuff
oven's
like
on
that.
fire.
Yeah. No, this isn't. This is to me what we talk about is a glitch in the matrix, and we don't know why it happens. I feel like there is science behind the parallel universes and how it talks about that and stuff like that. That scientists are just now getting into more and more, but this is when we talk about things like this happening, and it's fascinating when it's a group of people, because then you're not nearly sounding as crazy as you think you are. But I also know for a 10-year-old kiddo, depending on what day this is, that's bedtime, and I could see her going, why is it dark outside? Like,
hello, where's dinner at?
Yeah, I get it. And also, you didn't experience necessarily hunger, it doesn't sound like. So whatever happened fairly instantaneously.
Outside, yeah.
Yeah.
45 minutes, they said. Felt like about 45 minutes. So, that's
weird.
There's a lot of things that, I'm still thinking my lab or alien abduction. So,
okay. I am not on board, Linda, with alien abduction.
All right.
Mark, stop saying alien abduction. We're going to get emails of people going,
we should just say everything is.
That's why I went my lab. That's military abduction. So.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Yes, they abducted this family from their cabbage dinner. Managed to keep everything.
Did studies, implanted the implants, and then now they're back. So
okay. Mark, don't freak everybody out. What is wrong with you?
Just saying.
Linda, yes, I feel like that's what happened. You'll have to let us know if it happens again, because it's interesting, and maybe the date that it happened, that would be useful too, because they keep turning on these colliders and stuff, and weird stuff happens when they do that. So it'd be interesting to know the date,
And then the rational would be that, time you lost track of time. And when you saw it was, was there a glitch in the clock that set it 4 hours ahead or something maybe? And
not a glitch on all the phones and the microwave and the oven. That doesn't happen that way. And the food would be burned. We're not violating
there is such a thing as
law, Mark.
There is such a thing as I don't know what the term is. It's like time drag or something, where you're like going to a place and it says, oh, it's going to take this amount of time. And then as you're like driving, the time it's going to take gets longer and longer and longer. Like our clocks are not as fallible to like physics as we expect them to be. Like they will change as time gets longer. I don't know how this
that can even happen the other way around, where it says it's going to be 8 hours and suddenly you're there in 6 and you're like, but that's also you're driving at 120 miles an hour. So, but
stop driving so fast, Mark.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on. Who's next?
And that was Bo.
Oh, Bo, yeah.
So I very recently realized that I can feel presences and sometimes can see spirits and other things. And about a week or two ago, I was at work and saw something and described it to a coworker, and including the coloring, and he said that it sounds exactly like what his sleep paralysis demon looks like. And I'm trying to find out if that's a normal thing or if that's really out there. I grew up in an extremely Christian household, and I'm trying to learn more about this kind of thing and what I can see/feel. It really spooked us. Shared this on Reddit and got laughed at, made fun of. Then I found you all while Googling, and I felt this is a safe place to ask. And this is from Monica.
Oh, hello, Monica, and welcome to the Travelers.
And you are in a safe place.
You are, and the sleep paralysis, they call him the Hat Man, is
sometimes,
is sometimes referred to as the Hat Man. And Mark, do you want to describe what a lot of people say they experience when sleep paralysis hits them?
Yeah, usually a dark figure of some sort is seen coming into the room or is already in the room and leering over you or something. and generally gets on you, like sits on your chest or sits somewhere and you feel that pressure. Sometimes you feel the pressure first and then open your eyes and see the dark presence. It's the reason they call it the Hat Man. Sometimes it's seen like its head has hat, or sometimes it's seen with horns. That's where the term sleep paralysis demon comes from. It's like the head is misshapen in some way, and our brain interprets it different ways, but usually it's kind of amorphous. It doesn't really have a shape or anything, but it kind of has arms or kind of has limbs, and it's holding you down and you can't move. And the reason they call it sleep paralysis demon is that is a medical term for it. It actually is a sleep paralysis. You can't move. It's your body produces a certain chemical that keeps you from running in your dreams or walking in your dreams. And that's what sleepwalkers and stuff like that, the chemical's not working. And that's why you're out in a dream state, walking around or running. But this is where the opposites happen. You've woken up partially, but that chemical is still going through. It gives you that nightmare sensation while this thing's, and that's your brain is interpreting that as that. That's the science explanation. But we think a lot of people, this is not that. This is something is affecting them. Something is a negative entity is attached or trying to attach itself. And it's, again, like we just had, draining the life out of you, or, consuming your very sleep. So that's keeping you from healing, because it wants you to be more worn out so that you're more susceptible to infestation or possession or whatever. A lot of people experience this. This is a common thing. It is, how many reports do we get? We get a ton.
We get a ton. And then the other thing too is a lot of people talk about what they call shadow people. I'm using quotations if you looked at the video. And that's where you kind of out of the corner of your eye, you again see sort of an amorphous shape, right? It kind of can look like a person. It can kind of look like other things. And usually when you try to focus on it, it goes away. Like you can't see it. It disappears, moves into the shadows, whatever. So you're not alone in seeing these things. So I also wouldn't necessarily be worried until such a time as there's a negative thing, and then take appropriate steps. A lot of his intention, just you deciding it can't get near you and pushing it out and stuff like that is what we recommend. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Monica. So, yes. And let us know if you have other questions or you need help with something. Because we do have people that can help if activity picks up and stuff like that. We have a lot of teams that are more experienced in the actual monitoring and that sort of thing that we can send out to help you. So hopefully that helps.
And I'm sorry you got laughed at and made fun of on that website. You're more than welcome to chat with us, and our Discord, join in. I think the links are around. I know our Patreon members get it, so but anybody can.
The Discord link is in our show notes. So if
there we
you
go.
scroll down on your podcast app, you will see the link.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and we have
join us.
Friendly place there. Everybody is so sweet and happy to help. So
yes, absolutely. Okay, Mark, you're next.
Okay, let's see. I grew up at Sherman, West Virginia in Jackson County. Well, hey, I'm from Kanawha County, so not too far. We would walk across the river in the summer to the little town of Haskins Meggs, and there's a very large mound across the road from Old Country Road. Yeah, I was there many years ago, and they didn't take very care of it, and it's a very large one. The island in front of the Haskins. 30 years ago, they started drowning in front of it and dug it deep with a backhoe. And one morning, they were digging it, and they hit something hard, and they removed everything. They found graves, many soldiers and guns and uniforms, mostly suits from the Civil War. I never found where they took their bodies. My father said they found a giant native with a spear. The mound was destroyed. Any ideas? Charla. Well, hey, Charla. Yeah, we've heard a lot about giants and mounds being disappeared. How many newspaper articles have I found with that? a lot, and particularly West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio area. There's whatever that culture was there, often built mounds that we had. The Fort Ancient culture, the Adena culture, they were mound builders. They were the mound builders. They built Serpent Mound. They built things like that. We think there's a couple more cultures that might predate them that we've lost to history. So we're not sure. We've heard stories about giants, like 12 foot tall, 10 foot tall, with giant spears, and Smithsonian comes and collects them according to the newspaper articles, and then they're gone. And Smithsonian, when we reach out to them, say, nope, don't know what you're talking about.
We were never there. These are not the droids you're looking for. These are
So-
not the giants you're looking for.
Which makes us consider there might have been like a Men in Black type cover thing. And, you know, if you showed up in the 1920s and said, hey, you're from the Smithsonian, who's going to question you? So it's not like, you
It's
know,
not like
they
there's a
could Google
Smithsonian
you.
badge.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You couldn't Google them or anything. And, you know, that's what the Men in Black were doing. Hey, we're from a government organization. Well, which one? It doesn't matter. We're just from the
Doesn't
government.
matter. Just
Or
put
government
a bunch of
men.
letters together and say.
And a lot of those mounds, people bulldozed those back in the day and used them for gravel for roads. And people, you know, that's the sad thing about our culture. We just, at that point, we didn't care about native culture and just bulldozed it and put it into the ground. And that's, to be fair, that's the colonial attitude, but that's also been the attitude for forever. Everybody wants to destroy the culture that came before and replace it with their own. That is man. We've been doing that 10,000 years or more, and we're going to keep doing it as long as we can. It's just, we try to fight it. We're trying to be better about it now, but it's tough. I mean, that's happening in Africa and in other places right now, and Europe, Eastern Europe, it's going on right now. I'm sorry, but we can't, it's winners do just destroy the past. It's what they do. So
Yes, and a lot of times when they do find soldiers, they do take them and bury them at veteran cemeteries again. That's what we can hope occurred, whether that's an unnamed grave because they don't know who the person was. But usually, hopefully, they move the bodies to a better place to be. But a lot of times during these wars, you got to remember the number of casualties made it impossible to necessarily do burial the correct way, and a lot of people were just thrown in larger pits near the battle sites, because especially if they were the enemy. And
yeah, no, it's and that's probably what happened with the Civil War bodies and stuff. And the reason you find those, they find those a lot around mounds and other things, because those are good defensive structures. Also a good offensive structure for putting like a cannon up on top of something that overlooks the flat plain. You got a point of vantage up there. So yeah, that's why we find them a lot around mounds and earthworks and stuff like that. So, I mean, St. Augustine had many battles. We talked about that recently with the Gates of St. Augustine episode with Callie. Soldiers leaned against the earthworks. Some were made and some were leftovers from the natives. So,
yeah, and they just let the body. There's so many bodies anyway. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Charlotte. And with that, I think we take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with your listener questions.
Prepare to be devoured. The Wolves of Wharton is a 6-part complete book series by Eerie Travels producer Bo Lake. It has been called dark and visceral, steamy, dramatic, and a fresh take on the werewolf mythos. If you like action, adventure, a large serving of body horror, and some steamy relations, the Wolves of Wharton series is for you. Pick it up wherever books are sold, or at linktree.com/Bo__Lake.
Do we want to add the sound or no?
nah,
I can add it later.
Okay.
that's
Well, I was waiting for
for
the
you
sound.
video folks. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a commercial sound there. So
Yes, we're back. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go because we've got a few more of these to get through. So here we go. Hello, travelers.
hi.
Hello.
I love your podcast and the content outside of it. Keep up the good work. I appreciate you reading my first two tales as no one has read or listened before. A lot of people in my life are skeptics and tend to try to discredit experiences, and it's nice to have a place where I can say the experiences and people I know believe. On to the tale. I think I witnessed a time loop of someone's death. Ooh.
Oh.
I'm a delivery driver in Lexington, Kentucky. It was 2008, and I was out in a suburban area midwinter. It was snowing bad. I saw a guy laying in the snow on the side of the road and behind me. I saw an ambulance coming. I figured it was for him and pulled up a bit to see it was true they were coming for him. I went on to my delivery. My delivery was at a prison, so it took a bit to finish. On my way back, I witnessed the coroner putting the body into the van. The next day, I was delivering on the same road around the same time of night. I saw the exact same person on the side of the road, along with the flash of lights in my mirror, but no ambulance. Upon coming back, I witnessed a coroner van once again loading the body up. I don't know how to explain this other but residual energy of the event the night before. I've never forgotten, and I feel like I can't tell this story to anyone who wouldn't understand or believe me. Anyway, is this a thing that happens often? Have you had any reported experience like this? Thank you all so much, Alexander. Well, hello,
Wow.
Alexander.
Maybe it's twins. They both died in the same exact spot.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
That's
That
weird.
could be a lot of things. It could be a lot of things. That could be like we just said, a glitch in the matrix. Just you. It could be deja vu, where you just felt that same thing again. It could be a premonition that you saw it the day before and then it happened. Or like you said, it could be an echo, a stone tape, where it's playing, and it could be something that happened decades ago and playing again and again and again. And you just happen to catch it 2 nights in a row where the energy built up enough to where it's playing. That's a lot of things it could be. It could also be something that was negatively affecting you and projecting it to you so that you're seeing it over and over again because it wants to feed, like a fearmonger wanting to feed on you and stuff. There's a lot there.
Or it could have been 2 escape prisoners and they didn't find the second one until the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that,
There you
but
go.
who knows?
2 escape prisoners just died in the same spot for some reason.
Well, a lot of times snow
Maybe it's an unsafe road.
Yeah, snow covers things up. And a lot of times, like one of the things I learned when I was up in Minnesota in the wintertime, where my family is they don't necessarily pull the cars out of the ditches and stuff until it thaws and they can actually do it because it's too hard to get leverage, that sort of thing. Like they don't necessarily remove you from it. And so like there's so much that could happen. I'm not saying this isn't preternatural. I'm just saying that there's so many things that could have occurred, but Mark has given a rundown of pretty much all the explanations I think we can think up for it.
Yeah. I got one more. It could be Doctor Who, and he was making
God.
a snow angel and froze to death, and then he regenerated and came back and tried to do it again, and died again. So yeah.
I'm not going to give that last one any.
I mean, it makes as much sense as twins. So
Yeah, I like twins idea.
Okay.
So,
Alexander, thank you for sharing. Please feel free to always share with us. We do enjoy your tales and questions. And with that, Bo, is it me? Is it me or is it you?
You're trying to dodge the long one. It's your turn. Yeah.
I did try to. Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is a question and story. Recently, within the past couple of months, my fiance and I have noticed some strange happenings around our house in Spring Hill, which we have lived in for about 4 years now. My fiance, Josh, has always felt like something was off there, but I work from home every other day and spend a lot of time alone with just the dog. And there, I've never felt creeped out by anything. Occasionally, a light or TV would turn off or on by itself, but I chalk that up to faulty wiring since it's an older home and whatnot. Well, lately, our little 2-year-old, 20-pound Teddy Roosevelt Terrier Sterling has been unsettled at home and displaying strange behavior. While I was working from home one afternoon, he was sleeping on the other side of the couch, and while I had my back to him, I heard a thud on the floor, turned around, and saw him looking scared on the floor. Truly sounded like something pushed him onto the ground. He then ran with his little ears down, looking scared, and kept trying to hide behind me and was clearly afraid of something. Took him outside thinking it would help, and when I tried to bring him back inside again, he sat at the back door looking in and not wanting to walk back inside. Trust your animals. Okay. After finally carrying him back in, he squeezed himself behind me on the couch and stared down the hallway as though looking at something. I had the weirdest feeling when this was happening and had goosebumps all over, and now I think I understand what it feels like to have the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Yep. Okay. I then proceeded to yell throughout my house that whatever was not welcome and that it was my house. Well done. Since then, Sterling has been randomly barking at nothing I can see and has on more than one occasion ran to me afraid, like the day he fell off the couch. We also have had an increase in electrical issues and lights in rooms that aren't often used turning on when no one is home. I woke up to the TV being randomly on throughout the night and things falling when there's no one near them. We have not bought anything new to the home. I'm actually nervous to buy used things because I'm always thinking it's going to end up haunted item, laugh out loud. So there's nothing I could think of that would have caused the new activity in our home. But if it were me, none of this would really bother me and I could keep living my life. But since my poor little baby dog seems the one constantly running away from something I can't see, my question is, do you have any suggestions to make these things stop? Josh and I have both gone around the house sternly stating that it's our home and whatever's there is not welcome, which has made no difference. Jen. Well, I do have a suggestion, but Mark, what is yours?
I know. I have a feeling I know what yours is, but no, I would say
down. We're not to that level yet.
Okay. I would say first, get an electrician, come out, check your electrics, because that could just be something simple. As for the dog barking at things that aren't there, again, get an exterminator. They can come check. Even if you don't want them to kill anything, they can check if you got things in the walls that the dog might be barking at.
Oh yeah, like rats or something. That happened to my brother's house. Their dog was barking at the walls and it was rats.
Yeah, people think, oh, it's a ghost. It could just be something terrible like that. But again, just get those two things checked first. That's your first. If you call a paranormal investigator, that's the first things they're going to ask is, have you had the electrics out and have you had somebody check that? Because that also can even affect strange things like that you've gotten, the extra energy from a loose wire can charge things up that might be preternatural that we don't understand. We're not sure what affects these things, but that would be my first two things. The falling off the couch, dogs do that. Cats do that. People do that. The sense and the sound before that happens. Yeah. And again, hairs in the back of your neck could be something simple that your brain is saying, hey, there's something in the wall. There's something like that. All that, it could be something spooky, and get those other things checked. And then we can send a team. Spring Hill, Florida, we've got a few teams in that area. So and more than happy.
I was going to say, if you get both those things checked and that's the case, go get your railroad spikes and put them at the corners of your house. Start there and get a team out there, because if it is preternatural and not something that can be easily explained like this, it sounds like it's playing, just not in a great way. Because usually when it's messing with animals, that tends to be playing and just not in a great way, because it doesn't seem like it's messing with you guys too terribly much, if that's what it is. Bo, thoughts?
I would also say, depending on the age of your dog, Oh, they're only 2. Because I would say if they were acting strange and they were older, it could be like doggy dementia or something, because my dog's dealing with it right now, like acting really funny, barking at weird stuff, running into stuff.
Yeah.
So I would also be cognizant of it. It could be something like thing that you could get your dog checked out too. Like it could have dog anxiety, could have like a condition you don't know about. And also dogs do fall off the furniture sometimes.
They
when
do,
they're-
but the not wanting to go back in the house thing, like
yeah.
removing the dog falling off the couch, but it being in fear and not wanting to
Yeah,
go
and
back
not
in
wanting
the
to go
house,
inside is weird.
yeah, that's sensing something. But get those things checked first so we can at least check them off the list and then go for the next
Yeah.
issue. That's what we recommend, Jen. So hopefully that helps. Okay, see, I didn't want to burn it down. I just want everybody to note that for the record. Wasn't to that level yet.
Yeah.
But
Only once you get everything checked and then you realize it's ghosts, then burn it down, as Erica would say.
yes,
Yep.
Is
So
it my turn?
yes.
I think it's your turn. Yes.
I'm trying to solve an old family boogeyman mystery. Oh, that sounds fun. All right, so when me and my siblings were little, my mama would use 2 names to scare us out of being bad, and I'm looking to see if anyone has ever heard of the second one. The first was Rawhead Bloody Bones. Oh, we know about him.
We talked
Yeah, we
about
just
it.
did an episode
Yeah,
on
we did an
him.
episode on him. I've been able to find out the origins of that one, no problem. But the second one apparently is non-existent. The second one sounds like she's saying Gran Baluter. Now, I don't know if that's the right name or if it's become that through accents or what, but how you read it is how it sounded. You said her granny would use that name on her and her siblings to scare them. My question is there a boogeyman called Gran Baluter or something similar? Or was it just something my great granny made up? This was backwoods, eastern Tennessee area, if that helps. And this is from Cammie.
Hello, Cammy.
Hi, Cammie.
Hi, Cammy. That sounds like a holler monster. That sounds like my bench leg. That sounds like the boojum. That sounds like any of these that you've got
bites.
something. Yeah, it's something. Gran Baluter is probably based on something historical, something that happened. Maybe an old lady named Gran, and last name similar to that, or it could be something sounds like a boojum type. It sounds like a boogeyman type name, Baluter. I'm not familiar with that one in particular. I'd love to know exactly where that is. I'd love to deep dive into it. I'm actually going to put that in my notes to see what I can find. Eastern Tennessee.
Oh, Muncie Bunny Trail. So, Cammy, you got to give us a little more information because now you got Mark all wanting to go down it. And trust me, if it's there somewhere and known by more than just your family, he will find it.
Yeah, and if it's only known by your family, I want to know about it too because I want to preserve that story. I want to keep it going. I don't want it lost when your granny dies. I'd love to keep that story alive and find out what's going on. Maybe get it out of your holler, and maybe some other holler somewhere 100 miles away, same family knows that story. That's how we keep these things going. That's if we hadn't done that, Mothman Flatwoods would just be footnotes in somebody's book if we're lucky. So I'd love to dig into this. That's right up my alley. Thank you. I'm going to reach out and see what we can find. So
yes, there you go. You've inspired Mark, but it sounds
I'm
like
excited.
a man.
I doubt she just made it up. That sounds like something that's too odd. Again, Graham Baluter. That sounds like a granny, and maybe she was a baby killer or something like that.
Grand, like big.
Yeah, that could be too. Yeah, Grand Baluter. But I get the feeling that this sounds like exactly what it sounds like. I think this is a lady who did some terrible things to kids, and now they've made a legend out of her.
Eats livers. We'll go back to the eating
maybe.
liver situation.
Maybe East Tennessee. That's Spearfinger territory.
So it is. It is. I don't love that. Okay, Cammy, more details. Mark will go down the rabbit hole.
I'm excited to do that. So
okay, Marcus, next one is you, my friend.
Yeah, buddy. This is Hey, Mark and Erica.
Hello.
Hey. I want to know if any of you have heard of the monster that the Cherokee believed in. They believed that a giant wasp monster lived on top of Roan Mountain, and that is why the top of the mountain is naturally bald. This is all I know. Do you know anything about this legend? Heather.
Hello,
Yes,
Heather.
I do. I did some notes on this because this almost made it into our book about the dark side of the Smokies, but Rome Mountain is just, it's right on the edge there, and we already had our book chock full, so this is probably going in a future project. But I cannot pronounce this, so please forgive me. I need Kathy Littlejohn here again. It's a Ulagu, which is basically the size of a longhouse, and would fly by villages and steal children for snacks.
Yum.
Right.
Here's the quote from Kathy. Hunters and warriors of the tribe decided to stop this insect and baited it using a deer tied to a long white string. As the insect flew off with the deer meat and was able to be followed due to the string being attached to the prey it snatched. They stalked the insect until they found its home, which was a cave on Roan Mountain, and it was filled with a nest of many smaller insects, just like the Ulagu. And the warriors built fires under the cave entrance and suffocated it and killed all the smaller wasps. The insects that escaped spread the fire into the forests and throughout the world, and they became what we now know as yellow jackets.
Ooh.
So that's a creation myth type thing. That's the story I heard that you're talking about. Now, Roan Mountain has, oh man, it could be a book on its own. It might be. It's just right in the Appalachians. It's beautiful, and it's got some spooky stuff. The Cloudland Hotel is super haunted. There's Carver's Gap there, which has all kind. The forest's supposed to talk. I love that, and the overlook there. The overlook there is supposed to have strange chills and eyes watching you. It's a dancing lights spot. We're doing an episode on ghost lights, and this is actually one of the ones that I researched. So it's kind of synchronicities here that this came back up. And again, there's strange rock formations that are supposed to be maybe the Moon-Eyed people helped carve them and stuff like that. So it's got all kinds of stuff. So
Yes, well, that's a nice, creepy story. At least the bug's no longer alive, because that sounds terrifying. So,
just like Spearfinger, the Cherokee took care of business.
Yes. So, thank you, Heather, and we hope Muncie Bunny Trail helped you with that particular question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
My next one. Oh, this is interesting. Why does Sasquatch stay hidden? And that's from Lynn.
Well, Len,
I have
look
no
what happened.
idea, Lynn. I don't know if they always have, if it's a nature thing to them, if it's a protection thing. Seems safer to me. That's my guess. Most creatures, believe it or not, have a degree of camouflage. Even predators is built into their systems. Most of them do, because that's how you survive in nature. I mean, we're the exception to the rule where we dress very flamboyantly to stand out, but that's why, like, when we're at war and stuff, we put on camouflage to blend into the surroundings so we can't be seen. So my guess is that has something to do with it, but I have no idea outside of that. Bo, you have any thoughts?
I would say the same thing in that they also probably don't want to be hunted by humans, because that's our thing
Our
that we like
go-to?
to do is we love doing that. We like to hunt stuff and then stuff it and put it in our museums, and I think they have the intelligence not want that to happen. So they're sneaky.
Agreed. Mark, your thoughts? I saved you for last because I know you have some. So
I agree with that. I mean, the few times they've come out, the Cheesy Wild Man, we locked him up in an insane asylum and killed him. The cave expedition, they blew him up. There's I think those Carter Caves, and then we've got the Boojum story, where the one where he lived under the hotel and they killed him because they couldn't have him messing with the woman. I think they learned and said, no, screw this. Man is scary. We don't want anything to do with him. Or that one person who said that I've mentioned it before, what if they're just caveman ghosts and they just don't want anything to do with us and just disappear? So,
Yeah. So true.
I don't know. Gorillas avoid us. So, everything avoids us. So
Yeah,
if there are a giant ape, they avoid us.
Jane Goodall took her 2 years to even see them when she was out there quietly, just sitting waiting. Not a lot of technology.
Within a 5-mile radius, not that big. Look how big some of these hunt areas have to be to try to get anything.
Yeah. So I hope that answers that question as best we can without answering it. So with that
Sorry,
said,
Lynn. We do our best.
Yeah. Bo, over to you, my friend.
Has anyone ever heard the saying, if you hear something whistle at you, don't answer? Yes,
Oh, yeah.
we have heard that. Just happened to me while camping at Breaks Interstate Park. Also heard something walking. It's around 1:30 a.m. Finished smoking and came back in. Did not respond. Hubby thinks I'm crazy. I know you all won't. And this is from Melissa.
Well, hello, Melissa. Yes, absolutely. Under no circumstances, if something calls out to you or whistles to you and whatever, unless you are expecting that communication from someone, do not reply. Just go
Yeah,
in
what
the other
good are you
direction.
gonna get like responding to it, even if it's just a human? Like, they're probably up to no
It's
good.
not going to be like someone going, hey, I've got $1 million a year job offering you, and I'm out here in the woods whistling to whoever shows up. No, it's not going to be the Mandela effect of them showing up with a Publishers Clearinghouse check for you. No, it's
Damn.
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
No,
So,
agreed.
again, if you're lost in the woods and you know people are looking for you, yes, answer. Yeah, do your best. But if not, don't.
Outside of that specific situation, the answer is nope.
Yep. Nope.
Nope. You did completely the right thing. You got a high five from your Eerie Travels crew. You did a great job there. So, Mark, next one for you, my friend.
All right, next one for me. Okay, this happened to me today. I was driving home from Morgantown to Hurricane, or Hurricane if we're in West Virginia. It sounds like we're in Hurricane. And was somewhere between the Servia Road and Big Otter exits. Yep, that's West Virginia. Going southbound. I came around a curve, and crossing the interstate in front of me was a giant black cat. I'm not talking house cat. It was a big cat, all caps, the size of a very large dog or small bear. It was definitely neither of those things. It had a very long tail and long, slender legs. It wasn't running, just casually strolled across both lanes and then ducked under the guardrail and down the side of the hill. By the time I reached the spot where it was, I could no longer see it. Never seen anything like this before in my life, and I am at a loss as to what it was. I looked up Fisher cats, and this thing was way bigger than that, or what those appear to be. Possibly someone's escaped exotic pet, something else we don't know about. Has anyone else had sightings of a creature like this? Tracy.
Oh, thank you, Tracy.
Yes, we have lots of sightings like that.
Yes. And there are black panthers. We had this conversation with a traveler at a recent convention we were at. There are black panthers that have been seen on trail cams. I'm not saying that's 100% what this is, but they are very large cats. People don't realize they're not the size of bobcats. They are a larger species of cats. They have spots on them, but I think you have to have a lot of light reflect off of their coats to see, because it's sort of like black on black spots. So, but that would be my first guess, because in these areas, people have seen at least one, if not more, of these cats. Now, they could have been let loose by
exotic pets is common.
There's a lot of roadside news too in that area.
Yeah, we all watched Tiger King, so we know people do this. And then we also know, like, Florida panthers are coming further north because they're avoiding all the buildup in Florida. So they've been spotted in Georgia now, and maybe going further north. But again, those tend to be more brown with blackish color. But there are some that are darker black because the melanin's different. So that could be too. We talk about catamounts going extinct in our book, and they're big things. And we talk about the reports that the rangers get of strange big cats spotted. But if you ask them about it, nope, don't know what you're talking about. But that's when you use the term ABCs, or what they call alien big cats. Not that they're aliens. Sometimes people draw them with 3 eyes and tentacles and stuff like that. But again, we do have creatures like the Beast of Bladenborough, which was a big cat with vampire-like fangs, which I assume is like a saber-tooth type thing. And then we've got Wampus cat stories all throughout the area, which are big cats with 4 to 6 legs. And then the wolf woman, or the cat woman, which are Cherokee and other native legends of a shapeshifter, and they all fit that same description. So, but yeah, big black cat, there's a lot of options. And that you didn't see something, you're not crazy. Other people probably saw it, and there's probably reports of it in that area. So we'll add it to our list, and I guess I can pull up the email, figure out what day that was, and we can add it to some of the sightings lists.
Yes, but that's my guess. My guess is not immediately preternatural, but we have seen, like, we talked about this a little bit. I just want to highlight it again. So Justin from Cryptids of the Corn podcast, who's a biologist, they did a whole thing about the hyenas that are loose in our country. Nobody talks about this, but there are packs of wild hyenas that are loose in the United States. They are huge creatures, and they hunt in packs. They're not very pleasant. And we just forget that, whether it's from animal parks like the Tiger Kings of the world, because he just happened to be one a great story was done about, but there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of those kind of things, or people getting them, because unfortunately, and I'm going to say unfortunately, so I'm sorry if I piss anyone off, there are not more regulations regarding exotic creatures, and people think they're a great idea for pets, and most of them are not a great idea.
We talked about back in the day, they used to mail order monkeys, they mailed order hyenas, they mail ordered a lot of things, and people got them, didn't know what to do with them, let them loose. And guess what? We have some mating pairs of things out there. It explains some of the cryptid sightings. And if they were a mated pair and got out there, it doesn't take long for a pack. And that's what happens. Exactly. Wow. Thanks, Tracy.
Yes, thanks, Tracy. Okay.
And thanks. We'll keep West Virginia weird. We'll forward that on to our wild and weird West Virginia guys, too.
That's a good idea. Maybe Cryptids of the Corn. They could.
Yeah, them too. Yeah, they're all in that area.
Yeah.
We've only got a few short ones left, guys. You want to blitz these?
Yeah, no, I was going to finish. We're finishing, Mark. Here we go.
All right. I'm no quitters here.
Yeah. I saw a strange light outside last night. It went across the sky. I have no idea what it was. Did anybody else see it? And this is from Rachel. Rachel, yep. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there were 2 Starlink launches that day. And that's not including any other privatized launches, which are happening all the time.
There are some government launches that aren't being announced, but they're announced after. They're announced after they're up, because they don't want anybody to sabotage them and stuff like that.
Yeah. But, there were launches. I think what you saw was from us and not from something else.
Yeah, I'm sad to say, but that I do get a lot of emails every launch that I saw this. It can't be Starlink. I looked up what Starlink looks like, and then I show them a picture from a different launch. And okay. Different atmosphere conditions, different things. Now, please stop. Don't consider not reporting. Please report, because that one night might not be a Starlink. But before you report, just Google if there were any Starlink launches, please. It will solve you a lot of trouble.
Launches, period. Because there's a lot of satellite companies. Starlink isn't the only one.
Yeah, now we got Blue Origin. We got some others now. It's and some others are even just now starting. Some new companies are testing. So, So, but thank you, Rachel. I appreciate the email.
Oh, these next 2 are going to be fun and controversial.
I Are you ready to answer this question, Mark? Because I know you have a lot to say.
I have a lot to say. I think I saw ahead. So
hey, Mark and Erica.
I will. Oh, hey, Hey,
What do you think about missing 411 stories? Does Bigfoot eat people? And this is from Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
hi,
Thanks
Jenny.
for writing
Oh,
us. Okay,
All right,
if
and
you are
go,
a
Mark.
fan of Missing 411, it was very nice having you listen to this point. You
yeah.
probably should turn off this podcast.
Yeah. If you're missing 411, Dave Pilates fan, yeah, you can turn off now and still think kindly of us. I'm just gonna say I love Dave. He brought a lot of information to a lot of people, but he is television, he is an author, he is a writer. And there are many of those cases, if you look into them, he left out a lot. I mean, he's a cop. He was a former cop. So that gives a lot. But I also know he leaves out a lot of evidence that is not left out. I mean, he also embellishes. He adds things that weren't there. Does that debunk the bulk of his work? Yeah, kind of. It's just, I think he knows better. That's my problem. I mean, he's like, we do this. We do the podcast. We write the books. Yes, we like money. And he wrote Bigfoot books before he started getting into this. His famous story is that rangers came to him saying, "Hey, we read your book, and we think you'd be interested in these cases and how big of a phenomenon this is." He's changed that story so many times, and I have bad memory. I have an epileptic brain, and sometimes I remember things a little off, and sometimes I talk about things, and the writer in me goes, "Well, it happened this way, but it would have been cooler if it happened this way." So you do embellish when you're writing a book, and when you're doing that, just a hint. That's the storyteller in me, and I think Dave has that too. But Bigfoot does not eat people. We don't think. We do think people go missing. Weird stuff happens. It could be anything, a million things. It's possible Bigfoot, if he stumbled on a nice meal, he's going to take advantage. But we don't have evidence of that. We
Then
don't have
there's a lot of
evidence.
cave systems where all those
Yep.
missing cases are. People get lost in caves all the
And-
time.
And people
And
love to
tell
point
people
out
where they're going.
Yeah, people love to point out the map of the cave system mixed with the map of missing persons, but also if you put that mixed with the map of where everybody lives,
That's
it's
true.
the same map. This is where everybody's at. Nobody disappears in the middle of the Badlands Desert. Yeah, people do, but there's not many because there's not many people there. It's it's a long controversial. I would do a 15-minute diatribe on this, but that said, Missing 411s are great entertainment, and they are a lot of fun, and they give you tastes of these cases. Just remember, some of these were solved. They say they weren't, but they were. Some of these, the bodies were found not where they said they were in the shows. Some, like there was one where this dog was cowering. This dog, the family dog, should have been protecting, and this family dog wasn't. And there was not even a family dog in that case.
The problem when it comes to, I think a lot of people don't realize this, we are in working on an Eerie Travels TV show, but we're very particular because one of the things that we are not a fan of is when TV shows go super sensationalized, where they start teetering into the realm of fiction when they're not supposed to be a fiction show, and they're presenting themselves like they're not a fiction show, and they go for sensationalism and stuff like that. There are several shows that are guilty of this as they became more and more popular. And I think it's hard, and we can't really say since we're not on the other side, but to hold your ground on not compromising, because sometimes this stuff honestly is boring in a way to research. You're going down through papers, there's not people to talk to, like that, and the story ends up not being very exciting in the end, right? Like, the veggie guy who saw the veggie man who admitted to being on mushrooms or something during that process. Like, how exciting is that? You could tell that whole story where we were being invaded by Captain Broccoli. I don't know. But the point is that if you don't tell the part where it was one guy who was doing a lot of drugs that said he saw this thing, now, did he see it? We don't know. What we do know is that drugs can sometimes alter your perceptions.
And sometimes 411s, people go missing in the state parks. They're never found again. It happens. Yes, that does happen. So yes, it's sad and it's something that needs to be investigated. And the problem is our natural forest services, I think there's like what we found out, there's like 12 wildlife marshals for all the state parks. How many hundreds of thousands of acres is that? There's 12 to 15 that we know of. We know there's some that aren't, or that are like undercover and stuff like that they're not allowed to report, but that's it. And and then they're stretched with the local police, or stretched thin in those areas because it's out in the middle of nowhere, all that. So yeah, a lot of stuff goes unsolved, but that's the truth.
Here's some science too, which as somebody who's probably on an FBI watch list, because like Bo and Mark, I write horror stories. So I Google things like how long does it take for a body to decay in certain weather situations and outside. And there are many animals that are scavengers that if they come across a dead body of any kind, it doesn't just have to be human. They are like, oh, look, lunch and dinner, and possibly another lunch and dinner, depending on what's left. And then bones get scattered. If you watch a lot of true crime, you'll see they talk about by the time they found somebody, months later, they were just bones when they're exposed to certain elements. So I hate to say, people can fall, people can get trapped in things, all sorts of stuff. And especially if they're off a beaten path into an area where not a lot of other hikers go, they wouldn't be found for a while if they were found. So it's bad, but that is our opinion. And we are not a fan of making up parts of the story unless you are saying that you're fictionalizing it.
Or that this is a folktale. This is an urban legend. You got to say that. And we preface that. And even in our books and stuff like that, even my old History Press books, sometimes I get the dates wrong because I'm researching from research, and sometimes somebody else got it wrong. It's that's how it works, gang. It's the nature of the beast. But we got one more. Let's move on from that. That may be a 15-minute mini-sode at some point where I really go deep into that, but I don't know. That's our statement on it.
Mini-sodes, Mark. This next question you get to read.
Okay, yeah. Annabelle killed a researcher? She's on tour? Now some TikToker bought her? I listened to your episode about Annabelle. Is this one also a replica? From Bill. Well, Bill.
You know what? We should use the picture that me and you took at the convention this last weekend for Bo to use for this episode. Bo, there's a specific picture that goes right along with this question.
Yeah, no, the TikToker didn't buy her. He bought the house that the Warrens owned, which held their collection. I was there way back when. It's in a nice neighborhood in Connecticut. And he leased the collection for 5 years. So he's got a lease on Annabelle for 5 years. As far as I know.
Who owns Annabelle? Is it still this? Who owns? Like the stepson?
Tony Spira and his wife, who is the daughter of the Warrens.
Son-in-law.
And Tony runs the show. Tony runs the show. And then the person who died was his partner, who was a paranormal investigator who was also doing this. They were the ones who came up with the idea of the Annabelle liquor. They were the ones who were selling the t-shirts. They were the ones who decided to take her on tour because they couldn't have tours at the house because it's not zoned for that anymore. It's zoned, in a neighborhood, and the neighbors don't want it and all that. And I'm familiar with that. What happened with Hellview Cemetery was, the neighbors got us zoned out and finally got a friendly administration to their needs instead of the needs of the charities that we worked for. And that's this. The neighbors there don't want random people coming into their neighborhood at 3 a.m, standing around with flashlights and EMP detectors walking around a house. Is it a replica? I don't know. We know they had replicas because they took some out for photos and they were quoted as saying, yeah, we had some of his photos. Did Annabelle kill him? No, I think he had a heart attack and died. Did Annabelle cause the fire in New Orleans? Did she cause the Pennsylvania 911 system go out? No, these are just coincidences. Things happen. There's bad news every day, gang. Bad things happen every day. Just because Annabelle was nearby. No. Now, Robert, yes, Robert does everything bad. And that's why we love him and we treat him nice. And it's the reason because people didn't listen and didn't follow the rules. And that's why Robert, did bad things to you. It's your fault, not Robert's. Robert's a good boy. So,
yes, I think
Very
on
handsome.
this point, unfortunately, the actions of the few have outweighed whether or not Annabelle actually is what they said. Some of the stories were blown out of proportion and fictionalized around this particular situation. And so it has muddied the waters on what power the actual Annabelle doll holds. We said this before. I'm going to say it again. If, like Robert the doll is in a museum in Key West, Florida. Let me re-clarify that for anybody who believes that he's somewhere else based on somebody, ghost facers saying that he's somewhere else, because he's not. Robert the doll is in Key West, Florida. He will get evacuated depending on weather situations, but other than that, he is not removed from his home at the museum in Key West, Florida, where he has a caretaker and there are specific rules. That is because it is understood the power that this particular object holds. Whether you believe it or not, there has been evidence shown that when things are done differently with that particular thing, there are issues. This was true with Annabelle until they said they could take her on parade and they had her with the thing and all this stuff. It starts negating the validity. So we just personally hope if that object has any of the power it's supposed to have had, that they are using replicas and just not telling the truth about it, because otherwise they are knowingly endangering other people, which is very irresponsible and very shitty, no matter what.
And if you're charging full price to see a replica, then you're a piece of junk anyway. So
You're
but also,
defrauded.
now the TikToker who bought her, who bought the house, I think he's legit a fan of the paranormal. I mean, he knows it's going to get him clicks. Yeah, I think he knows it's going to get him clicks, and that's that's his job as content creator. So that works. But I also think he's genuinely interested. I think he got took. I think he just bought a cheap house in Connecticut that was falling apart even when I visited it back in the 80s. And now, he got it and he's wanting to do tours. He's wanting to host paranormal teams and all that. I don't think zoning's going to allow that. But if he has enough money, I mean, he's not Mr. Beast level, but he's pretty close. So he can throw some money at the city council and maybe get the zones changed and stuff so he could do minimal stuff and try to recoup some of his money. But
and finding out the legitimacy to some of the objects they claimed, I think is great. Like disproving what it is, because Robert the doll, who is a beautiful, wonderful boy, is proof that there are some objects that contain something we don't know what it is, right? Because Robert the doll is a doll. He was a leather doll that was made.
And he gets 100 letters a month, gang. 100 letters a month. That's 3 a day of people apologizing to him. How many letters does Annabelle get? Probably some fan letters from people of the Conjuring movies. But yeah.
Yeah, and those movies made all of this. The movies, the books that were written, that the ghostwriters have flat out said they were told to make more scary. I'm not saying that
we're not going to talk about the Warrens themselves.
Behind this situation. That's what the
problem is. And my opinion, Lorraine was the real deal. Had like money. That's my opinion. But Chris McKinnon, their grandson, super nice guy, and he is very distraught about all this. So he has nothing to do with this. He wishes it was different, and he's keeping on the legacy. He's actually an investigator and doing the right work. Tony and team, I'm sorry guys, I can't back you. I'm not happy about this, but a lot of people aren't. But we wish you luck. You can come on the show and tell us we're wrong, please. We open invite to any of y'all. So,
as it stands right now, we I believe Eerie Travels, one, is not sure that that is the real Annabelle that's being taken around, and two, if it is, I don't know that it's the causation of all of this. I think we're all waiting for the autopsy results to see what his cause of death actually was, and it might have been karma.
Yep. Could
Karma
be.
can be a bitch.
Yeah. Could just be. And it could also be eat healthy, gang. To live a good life. So, all right. That's it, gang. We made it to the end.
We did.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry for any delay on answering those questions. Please feel free to send them to you. We're doing pretty good with being caught up. You should have another Listener Tales episode as well, constantly being on top of such things as Bo is keeping us on the regular. And I'm so glad Bo was a part of this particular one because we miss her when she's not live with us on these shows. And with that, Bo, do you want to say anything before Mark sends us out?
I just love all haunted dolls. Let's just say that. And they're all perfect in their own way. You know?
There we go. My little lady back here, we love her to death now. I don't want to get rid of her now. So
no, she's great. I love her too.
Yeah. So she's been almost every episode now.
And she hasn't given us production problems at all. She's a beautiful angel.
Thank you, Patreon guys. We love you. Oh my gosh. And keep up the good work on Discord. We just love watching the interactions and stuff, and we jump in as much as we can. Thank you to listeners. As always, please like, share, spread us out there. Thank you to those of you who found us from our recent events. And thank you for those of you who found us from our collaborations with YouTubers and stuff like that. We love you all. You're all amazing. And to keep spreading the word so we get more people involved. We get more stories, we get more questions. These are fascinating. Thank you to our question writers. These are incredible. I'm so excited. I am super excited to find out more about Graham Baluter. Oh my gosh. I'm ready to start giggling right now and just see what I can dig up. So on that note, when you're out there and you get scared by seeing a big cat cross the street, or if you need that lucky charm to keep away the bad energy from that one employee that you have to work with, or if that sleep paralysis demon is bothering you to where you just can't deal with it, remember, you've got friends out there. You can write to us. You can send for a special team, or you can grab some iron spikes and dig them into the ground, burn the house down, and salt the ground to no things can possibly come back. But then walk up to Roan Mountain and watch the ghost lights, and we'll see you on the other side.